You're asking me if I swallowed an invisible moth? Actually, there was something in the bathroom in my water. It was really weird. It was sort of bug-like. Gross!
The bathroom window was open?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, so what if the moth was attracted to the light and then it flew into the room and fell into your water?
Where I accidentally drank it? Are you kidding me? I accidentally drank your invisible science project moth and now I'm invisible too?
What the hell? Why?
Hey, Val.
Hey, Al.
Welcome to D-Commentaries.
Thank you. Welcome to you and welcome to our listeners. Today, we're talking about Invisible Sister.
And we're going to have a night full of laughs. I don't know I don't know how you're going to include that intro, Val, but we could barely get through it.
Oh my God. We cannot keep it together because it's insane. And we'll get to that. It's also 9:30 and we're just starting.
Yeah, we're a little delirious. So for context between me and Val, we usually catch up for the first, okay, we're meeting at this time. We'll catch up for 20, 30 minutes. And then we get started. And then this time we had some tech issues. And then the catch up ended up being 45 minutes. So it is a late night with Al and Val.
That is correct. But we're going to power through and it's going to be great.
We will.
And with that in mind, let's kick off the business.
Okay.
We are, as we mentioned, we're talking about Invisible Sister, which came out October 9th. 2015.
My God.
Inexplicably the Halloween movie of 2015. And I don't get it. Very forced, as I'm sure we'll discuss further. It was directed by Paul Hoen, who is, one of these DCOM dudes. He directed Luck of the Irish, True Confessions, You Wish, Eddie's $1 Million Cook-Off, Read It and Weep, Jump In, Cheetah Girls One World, Dad Napped, Camp Rock 2, Let It Shine, How to Build a Better Boy, Cloud 9, and Zombies 1 through 3, and probably more that, like this one, I did not realize were DCOMs.
Yeah.
So we might see him again, besides in Zombies. It was also written by writers we've met before, the Eddie brothers. They wrote Bad Hair Day, Teen Beach 2, Zapped, and some other stuff that's not DCOMs, Monster High 1 and 2, and Eureka. It was also co-written by Jessica O'Toole, who is more of a TV writer, and some of her notables were Greek and the new Charmed.
Oh,
I know you're a big Greek fan.
Loved Greek.
Yeah, I watched
Shout
it too.
out to
I
Scott Michael Foster. Hope you're well.
So it has these people behind this movie has these people behind it.
Yeah.
And it's just,
although you did say that he wrote Zapped and Bad Hair Day.
Yeah.
And we did not really like those.
I didn't mind Bad Hair Day, but I take your point.
Yeah.
But in general,
we liked Teen Beach too.
Yeah. And we liked, I think, the majority of the movies that Paul Hoen directed.
Yeah.
And so I'm just kind of surprised at this one.
Yeah.
I think we'll get more into this in first impressions probably, but I suspect I have a thought, but
okay,
we'll get to that in a minute.
Oh, and it was made on a book.
That's right. It was based on a book, which we have historically not loved the movies that were based on books. Yeah. So that could definitely be contributing to it.
For sure.
Okay. The cast is as follows. Rowan Blanchard played Cleo Eastman. She was the lead in Girl Meets World. She was also in A Wrinkle in Time and more recently in the new Snowpiercer series, or newer Snowpiercer series, I should say. Paris Barelk played Molly Eastman, her older sister. She was in some shows including Mighty Med, Lab Rats Elite Force, Alexa and Katie, and Do Revenge. So both of them work, but I would say Rowan's probably got the more mainstream parts out of the two of them. Karan Brar played George. He was in Diary of a Wimpy Kid. He was on Jessie and the Jessie spinoff Bunked. And he was also a voice actor in Mira, Royal Detective. Rachel Crow played Nikki, who is Molly's best friend. She was a voice actor in Rio 2 and in Home, Adventures of Tippino. She was in Timeline, Schooled, and she hasn't had a credit since 2020. So I don't know if she retired or she just, got hard out there after the pandemic. I'm not sure.
Okay.
Alex Desire played Mr. Perkins.
Yeah.
You might remember him from Let It Shine. He was the club manager or owner or whatever. He's a pretty prolific character and voice actor. He was on Boy Meets World. He was on Becker, the LeBrons, the newer A League of Their Own series. He is a voice actor on The Simpsons, and he has tons of other credits, but those are just some notables. Will Myers played Carter. Carter is the guy who likes Cleo. He was in a few things, including Bad Education and Naomi. And then finally, Austin Freiberger played Coog, Molly's boyfriend. And he was in Snatchers and something called Boo Bitch.
Oh my God. We need a remake and I want to be in it.
I love that. So yeah, that's the main cast. Actually quite a small cast. In fact, I was so frustrated. There was a running bit with this older lady in the movie, and it was like basically the only thing I liked in the entire movie. And I tried to figure out who this woman was, and she's not credited anywhere.
No.
Yeah, I was really bummed. I was like, oh, maybe she's like a executive producer or something, like maybe she's just sort of some random, but I couldn't figure it out for the life of me who she was. So if anyone knows who the older lady is who is constantly being freaked out by Cleo and Molly, let me know. Okay, the synopsis is as follows. Cleo's science project goes disastrously wrong, causing her popular older sister Molly to suddenly become invisible. And that is a perfect synopsis.
That's a perfect synopsis. Thank you to the internet for that. Thank you. From the bottom of my heart.
Yes. And you already hit my fun fact. This is based on the novel My Invisible Sister by Beatrice, Colin, and Sara Pinto.
Nice. Should we write a book?
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's write a book.
All right.
Let's do it. I actually have some kids books ideas if you want to get
me too. Sorry, everyone, you don't get to know.
Nope, we're going to talk about that off mic
later.
Okay, well, that is the business done very efficiently.
Mm-hmm.
Al.
Yeah.
I cannot wait to hear
really?
what your first impressions of this movie are or were.
I had never seen this movie. I had never heard of this movie. I had low expectations for this movie, and those were met. I really liked the way that it was filmed.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was very clear and the blocking was good. Like, I really did enjoy, like, it felt like a movie.
It was clever. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The special effects weren't that insane to me. We've seen some really terrible special effects, and this was like not terrible special effects.
Yeah. For a DCOM, impressive, actually.
When it comes to the plot, I am not a fan of the plot and the words that the actors were saying with their mouths. I think I'm going to give this one a 4.5.
Okay. Better honestly than I expected.
Yeah. If I had to watch this one again, I would be mad, but I'd be like, all right, fine. Okay, fine. But I did not really like it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Val, first impressions.
Thanks, Al. Yeah, I was so distracted by A, the unbelievability of the premise, and B, the insanely clunky dialogue.
Yeah.
That what could have been a nice movie about sisters and like finding confidence And like, it has a lot of great themes and ideas.
Yeah.
And they are just completely overshadowed by this ridiculous premise. And like, this is coming from someone who enjoyed Teen Beach Movie very much, right?
Yeah.
So like, I am willing to suspend belief.
Right.
And I will say this, I do not think that this was suffering from that sort of like, isn't this stupid? Let's wink at the camera kind of stuff. Like, that was not this movie, right? So like, I will give it that. It was very earnest in its delivery of this insane premise. I think that it was so poorly written that it was distracting. Like, it was so like hard to just enjoy what was going on at any given moment. And like, but there were some like sweet ideas or like sweet moments or like things that I wanted really badly to like, like there's a lot of stuff about like sisterhood and like supportiveness and like believing in oneself and like all of these things. And I don't know, it just, I was like almost like annoyed that the movie wasn't as good as it could have been, which I think I've said about a few of the movies lately, but it just kind of like frustrated me. Yeah, that's how I felt.
No, and I think you're absolutely valid. Like, I wrote down, it's good acting and bad writing. Yeah. Yeah. Like, they really were like, we are living in this world, and they took everything face value and they were doing a really good job. Like, I really, even with Coog, you're like, oh my God. What? Sure.
I actually really loved Coog. Yeah. I thought he was like one of the best parts of this.
Like, sure. But then you get to the like plot, not even the plot, you get to the rising action and you're like, why is this? What do we? And then there's like little things where, like I will probably comment on it again, but like we all know she's invisible and they're on like the field for a sport and she's like screaming at her. And I'm like, everyone would hear you.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Yes.
Like, there's the little things. Yes. There's the little things where it's like, you are not making me believe this because she can't wear clothes, but everyone can hear her. So why is she now screaming? Right. You know, like little stuff like that.
Thank you for bringing that up, because I was struggling to articulate what my issue was. That is what it was. Because there are scenes in this movie where it is like, what are you doing? You know, like in that same scene, she's also like tackling people and they're like flying into the air. Like nobody would notice or like, I don't know. There were moments like that took away from the earnestness of like other moments. And that's what it was. It was like these dumb things that didn't make any sense, undermining the other parts of the movie. And like, there was also stuff that wasn't necessary. Like, I don't think this is spoiling anything. They like invent that they're like on a clock. Right. Right. And then like all these things, like they understand enough to know that they're on a clock, but they don't understand how to like actually fix the problem. You know what I mean? Like there's just inconsistencies in like everything about this. And that's what makes the reality really hard to stay kind of anchored in. Yeah. It's like sometimes it looks like people are looking at her and then other times not, you know, it's like she's invisible. You wouldn't be able to know exactly where she was.
Exactly. That's another point where Rowan is literally like staring at her in the eyes because she's acting as if she's staring right here. But if you were like, I don't know where you are, you'd be like, right. Hey, okay. So I don't like, you know, the little inconsistencies. Yes. That's what made this movie unbelievable. Not the fact that she turned invisible.
No. Thank you. And that like, you really helped me articulate like what the issue was. That's what it is. Anyway.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course. Al, did you have any favorite quotes or moments?
I stopped paying attention a while.
So did I.
So I have a couple from the beginning, but then I just stopped kind of caring. Love this podcast. Didn't like the movie, so that's why I'm saying. Okay. Rututu. Coog. Okay, actually, 2 Coog lines and 1
Me
George
too.
line.
Wait, I hope we have the same 2 Coog lines. Go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. I have 1 Coog line and 2 George lines. I did lie to you.
Okay.
So first George line is, hello, car full of beautiful women. I really liked him. He was fun.
No, he was good. He was good.
And then Coog is driving by in the car, and he's just like, all right, give the Coog a paw. I don't know what his real name is. It's just Coog.
It's oh yeah, no, we never learn his actual name.
Yeah. I was like, is his real name Cougar?
Yeah, I don't know. We never learn what his name is. Coog.
I do love their love for each other though.
Yeah. And like I appreciated that because we've had that other guy playing these sort of like insufferable bros for a few movies.
Yes.
And I appreciated having like a sweet bro. A gentle bro.
Yes, exactly. Our bro from Descendants and Zapped.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was a jerk. This bro was nice.
Yeah. My other favorite George line was their dad saying, hi, George. And he goes, hi, Cleo's dad. Which is like, no, you would not. Like that.
You would call him like Mr.
Call him
whatever.
Mr. whatever.
Yeah.
Which then I was like, oh, that's this kind of movie where we are not like we are kind of playing to the like silliness of it. But then it wasn't that kind of movie.
But then it wasn't, right. It was totally all over the place.
Yeah. I don't have a favorite moment, but my least favorite moment is my least favorite moment is all of the moments with the farting guinea pig.
Oh my God. What a dumb thing that was completely unnecessary.
Yeah. George is doing his science project on like giving guinea pigs ice cream and then they're like farting and I think I've discussed this before and I think everyone pretty much knows like fart and poop jokes for me. I don't think they're funny and I think it's like I'm just kind of over it. And so I was really over it.
Well, and what's annoying about it is it actually ends up being necessary to the plot.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why they had it, because otherwise it makes no sense. But that's almost worse.
Yeah.
Like they manufactured this ridiculous idea just to like have this information conveyed so that they can use it later. Like it's ridiculous.
Mm-hmm. And that's it. Val.
Great.
Favorite quotes and moments.
Thank you, Al. Okay, I've got 2 Coog lines. Does anyone know what goes in meatballs?
Yeah,
and
that
then
was good.
Also related to meatballs. Yo, next time Coog says he's going to eat 26 meatballs, you tell him that's too many meatballs.
We love Coog.
We love Coog. We stand Coog.
We stand Coog.
And then the worst line in the entire movie is, where are we going to find a moth before midnight? Like that is so illustrative of this movie. Like that line is so annoying. Like, come on.
You just brought me back to the eye roll that I had. Woof.
That's it for me.
Okay.
We love Coog. Coog forever.
We love Coog.
Al, I'm good. Do you want to just go right into Spoiler
I've
City?
I've been fully nude this whole time, but I'm invisible.
Oh my God.
Yeah, isn't that crazy?
I keep trying to put tops on, but they keep becoming invisible because they're touching me. Which makes
and that's
no
how
sense.
science works. Because it has everything to do with your cells. And so your cells are touching clothes. And so they disappear.
Right.
Yeah, tops are off. We're in Spoiler City. Good news for everyone. I did not take a lot of notes. So it just felt like the scenes were long, so you didn't really need a lot of notes. So hopefully this means well. All right. We start with BB gun to my head, a narration. It's a BB gun, okay? I'm only trying to stun some cells in my head. We get a narration of like 2 sisters, complete opposites. One feels invisible. Cool. Then we have Cleo, who's the more kind of punk, wears black, thick eyeliner, has a pink streak in her hair. Nerd. She's very smart. So she's like the nerdy one. Her sister is like the popular one who is on the star of the lacrosse team, has all of these friends, has the silly boyfriend. And Cleo, forgot her name, fell asleep in class, and the teacher, who is our teacher from Boy Meets World, he comes over and he's like, hey, stop falling asleep, even though you got 100, so I can't be that mad at you. But you have your science project coming up, and I want you to change your science project because I don't want you to do a papaya battery. I want you to do something bigger. So he's like, hey, I'm giving you these two things. One's a liquid and one's a solid. And I want you to take the liquid and turn it into the solid. You have to figure out what it is and then do that. So she's like, okay, fine, whatever. Then she meets up with her friend, George. We love George. We stan George. You know what? I just want a movie about George and Coog.
Yes. Also, there's some really interesting ideas in this movie, right? So like Cleo and George are both straight and best friends and not in the slightest bit interested in each other.
Yeah.
I think that's really cool. I also like that both Molly and Coog are very popular, but they're also very nice. There is no one mean in this movie, except honestly, Cleo at the beginning of the movie. Everyone else is really nice and kind to each other. And all of Molly's friends are nice. And that's a very unique thing. And it feels like a wasted opportunity because there's some like cool stuff in here. Anyway, sorry. Please proceed.
So then we find Carter, who is on the soccer team with the cool guys who are like, you know, they're kind of mean, but they're only in the movie for less than 7 seconds. Right. Just so that we can get the dynamics of Cleo and George being like the nerds. And Carter, who's on the team, comes over and he's like, hey, do you want to study? And she's like, you're only asking me to study so that I can do your homework for you. Like, no, but we find out that she like does have a crush on him. So she's like, he doesn't like me. Like, he's just trying to use me for my smarts, which we can kind of pick up on that moment that that's not true. But, you know, if you are a 12-year-old child watching this movie in 2015, you might not have picked up on that. Molly invites her to Froyo. So Molly's actually like trying to, you know, be nice and invite her out. And she's like, ew, no, I don't want to like hang out with you and your friends and Coog. So then they end up going home, and her parents, their parents are going out of town. And you can tell that their parents, at least at this moment, are like obsessed with Molly. And she's the star of the lacrosse team. And we're so sorry we're missing your first game of senior year. And they're just like really invested in her. And then they're like, oh, Cleo, you're also here. Which I don't know that is the case, but like it's kind of coming across.
The way that I interpreted that was like they're athletic people and they were trying really hard to connect with Cleo, but they just don't know how to do it in any other way than through like a sports mentality. And so like they just were failing, but they were like trying really hard to like connect with her.
For sure. And the parents leave, they get in a cab. Also, we're in New Orleans, which was a cool switch up from where we have been. I did enjoy the New Orleans shots. That was fun. And Molly's like, hey, I'm having a party tonight. The lacrosse girls are going to come over with their boyfriends and then their friends. And so she literally just like has a party. But Cleo is needing to work on this project. So she's in, you know, the study, the
garage.
Library, the garage. Yeah, she's in some science room at
pool
home.
House. They're always very rich in these movies.
Yes, they were very rich. And there's a whole party going on with the meatballs, and she's doing science. And then like there's a moth that comes into the room, and she's like, oh, a moth. And she like knocks a bunch of stuff into the concoction that she was making because she was like, oh, he literally just gave me sugar. He gave me liquid sugar and he wants me to turn it into crystal sugar. And then she like knocks over all of her ingredients and it goes into the concoction, and the moth flew over the steam of this concoction and turned invisible. And then she's like, oh my gosh, I have this invisible moth, and she's chasing after it, which begs the question, how are you being able to seeing this moth?
They go out of their way to kind of show how she can follow it, but still, it's silly.
Then everyone leaves. 10 p.m. sharp. Gotta be home by 10:30.
It was such a decom party. Like, instead of a keg, they're making meatballs.
Yeah.
They all leave it.
But there's like
fine.
13 people in this pool. There's people everywhere. Like, it was a very cute little party. So then everyone leaves and Molly's getting ready for bed because she's got the big game the next day, which is also why are you having a Thirsty Thursday party the day before the big game? And she drinks this like ginger fizz. So in my head, I was like, oh, she's going to make tea, but it's kind of like an Alka-Seltzer thing. And later on, I'm just going to mention it now. She mentions that she drinks it for like anxiety. So she takes it's like a ginger chew. If you're not
settles her
well.
stomach.
Yeah, settles her stomach. So Cleo had lost this moth and she's like, cool, it's gone forever. But then Molly's in the bathroom window's open. The moth somehow comes in, hits the lamp in the bathroom, dies, and then falls into her cup of ginger fizz. So she doesn't know that she's like drinking it, but she's like, that tasted weird. So she drinks it, wakes up at midnight. She's like, it like turns midnight. And then she goes to bed, wakes up invisible. And I was like, is she not wearing clothes? And then
that's exactly what I thought. Yeah.
And then I was like, oh, the clothes become invisible too when we like cut to her. And then, of course, they get rid of that too, where it's like anything that she puts on like will turn invisible. So she can't like wear a costume or anything like that's going to turn invisible. So then she screams, Cleo wakes up. They figure out how it worked, which was our cold open, which I wrote, wow, because out of all the moths in New Orleans, you literally were like, you had to have drank the invisible moth. Like it was just wild about how they figured that out in 2.5 minutes. But she's freaking out because it's Halloween. So there's the pump and dump party. I don't know what it's called. What's it called?
Pump and dump. It was like Romp the Swamp or something.
So they go to the pump and dump, or like it's that night. And then, but also she has her like the college scouts are coming to her lacrosse game today. And this, I wrote, why are they only coming the first game? Like she's like, this is the biggest day of my life. Like they're only coming to one game and it's the first game of the season.
Okay. Also, I love that they picked New Orleans because they wear masks and they picked lacrosse because they wear masks. Because that is the only way that this would have worked.
I didn't pick up on that, Val, and I'm really grateful for you. Okay, so Val's mentioning the masks. So they're like, oh my God. Like Molly's like, Cleo, you have to be me. And she's like, what? Ew, I don't want to do that. She's like, no, this is the biggest day of my life. You have to be me. So Cleo puts on her Halloween costume, which is Dorothy, and then they put a mask on her, which they don't really look that much alike.
I know. They're like, we look exactly alike. We're the same height. I'm like, what are you talking about?
No, you're not. You look totally different. And then they get to school. She sees Nikki, her best friend on the lacrosse team, and like her best friend, who was also nice.
So nice.
So nice. And then sees Coog. And then she like lies to George that she's like, no, Cleo's sick. And so she's like trying to put on this face that she's Molly while interacting with everyone. But then because it's the big game, they have the lacrosse pep circle where they like do the circle of truth and they do all the massage train, which is their like pre-game ritual stuff during the school day. Okay. And so she's like having to like fake to the team that she's, there. And then we cut to away from Molly and Cleo and Cleo's crush, Carter.
Yes.
Asks about the guinea pigs and he's like, yeah, I don't know why they're still farting. And he's like, oh, it's because ice cream has this thing and they don't like this. And he's like, whoa, you're so actually smart. And he's like, yeah, I'm the George Washington scholar. And they're like, whoa, that's the smartest a person can be. That's kind of crazy. And the entire time, Molly is in there trying to steal a microscope so that they can look at Molly's DNA to see like what's going on in her cells as to why she is still invisible and like how they can reverse the invisibility. And so Molly's listening in on this conversation and is like, oh my gosh, wait, I actually think that like Carter does kind of like you. So then Molly puts on Coog's bear costume. So Coog, this whole time of Halloween Day, they went as the Wizard of Oz. And he was like, I'm the cowardly bear. And you're like, Coog, my God. But he had like taken it off or something. And so Molly put it on.
Because he had to poop because he ate 26 meat.
Oh, see, I put that to the back of my brain because I don't like poop jokes. So he like took the bear costume off. So Molly took it and she knew that she was on borrowed time. So she's like, this is going to start disappearing at a certain time. Right. So she like went in and was like, hey, it's me, Cleo. Do you want to go on a date with me? And he's like, oh, okay, wait. Yeah, I do. Like, let's go to the dance together. I'm volunteering there. Like, I'll meet you there type of thing. Oh, it's called Romp the Swamp, Pump the Dump. Okay.
I think I said that, Romp the Swamp.
I think you did. Yeah. You'll find out when you edit.
That's true. I will.
Mm-hmm. Then Molly leaves the science lab and runs into Cleo, who's, also been having a day. And George catches them and he's like, whoa, you're invisible. And they're like, don't tell, but help us, please. And they leave to go on with their day. And the teacher comes to who he thinks is Molly. Okay, an adult can't pick up on this either. And is like, hey, your sister is so smart and so great, but she needs to get out of her own way. I really think that she's so bright. And the whole time Cleo is like hearing this about herself and she, has kind of like a realization in herself. Mm-hmm. So then Cleo and Molly have a heart to heart about being on the lacrosse team of like, I like being a part of a team. And I do this because like, I'm not like super passionate about it, but I like am good at it. And I do like it, but it's not like the best thing. And so they like figure out a way to like do the lacrosse game. Cause she's like, you need to do this for me. So like Val said, they put on a mask cause you wear masks in lacrosse. So no one knows it's her. And she's doing terrible. She doesn't know how to play lacrosse. At least, soccer or a basketball, like I feel like swimming, you can like get away with it. But
well, I think what's more unbelievable is that she all of a sudden picks up how to do it after like 2 minutes, like juggling or whatever they call it, like where you're like holding the ball in the bag or whatever in the net. It's very, very hard to do that. And
then a perfect shot that the goalie
like it's ridiculous.
Yeah. So they have this heart to heart and they like figure out a way to like work together where she's like tackling people and this and that after Cleo literally just got like hit in the face with a ball. Then it's halftime and George. Okay, first of all, there are so many people at this game. Yeah. It is like homecoming football game.
It's girls lacrosse.
It's girls lacrosse. And I'm not shitting on girls lacrosse. But as someone who had friends, but as someone who had friends on the girls lacrosse team, there were like 40 people in the stands, maybe.
Maybe. I mean,
maybe. And they were all parents.
I don't think that our girls lacrosse team was even technically speaking a sport. Like, I think it was
ours was for sure
intramural, whatever. Wow. You know what I mean? Like it was like a rec level sport.
And ours was huge. Like, that's why I say 40, because it was probably not even like the girls lacrosse team. I don't know. I think there might have been a JV and a varsity. Like there wasn't like a freshman, sophomore. So it was just like a huge everyone. So maybe 40 people. Sorry to anyone who went to Schaumburg High School. And if I'm insulting your 20, when was I in high school? 2007 to 2011 amount of people in the crowd. Anyways, at halftime, George goes onto the field to talk to Nikki. And this is where I get one of those, like, that would never happen. Like, the invisibility part, I can believe. Him in the middle of the game talking to them, I can't. That doesn't happen.
I know.
Hated that. And then I wrote, she was screaming during the game when people hear her screaming. So after the game, she wins the game for them. Cleo does. Everyone's happy. And then Molly's, sad because no one's hugging her. They can't freaking see her.
They can't freaking see her.
Why are you pissed? Why are you pissed? So then we go to the science lab and they do some tests. And they're like, oh my gosh, your cells are going to be ruined forever. And when did you drink your fizzy drink? And she was like, midnight. And they're like, oh my God, that means you have until midnight. And then they say, well, where are we going to find a moth in New Orleans? Because they're like, okay, well, we're just going to recreate everything we did. Yeah, no matter how long it takes us, we've got 8 hours. We're going to just do whatever we can. So they go to where? The best place to find moths? The graveyard. Not just like your back porch or outside anywhere in New Orleans by a light bulb. Specifically, they went to the graveyard. Then it's like the moon because it's Halloween, and then it's misty because it's New Orleans. And then like she can start to see that she's like her body, you know, she's like, oh my God, it's so good to see your face again. And you're like, oh my God. And they find exactly one moth. They snatch it. There was only one moth in that graveyard, and they found it and they snatched it by climbing a tree and falling into a pond. And then they get in a little fight and they're like, ah, sisters, you suck. Molly runs away. Cleo is talking to no one. This is where you're like, yeah, where are you looking? Nowhere. You don't know where she is. Just talk out. And she like apologizes for like, you're like the golden child and I'm like a nerdy little nerd, but like, I really do appreciate you. I'm only invisible because I look up to you and I want to be you and I don't know how to do that. And then Molly's like, no, but you're so smart. And then they're like, oh, sisters, they were never such devoted sisters. They make up. They sneak in. They're like, we need space to science. So they sneak into the school for lab purposes, and there is like a 5-minute scene with trying to trick the security guard to get into the school. Which
they like horror movie those security guards.
And I fully felt, during that part of the scene, I was playing Disney Emoji Blitz. Okay, did not care about that scene. I was blitzing. You blitz, bro? I was. And then they go into the lab. They're doing all their science. They're trying to figure out a solution to make it. So they figured out how to make it, but now they need the antidote. And they're like, we're not smart enough for this, but who is? The George Washington Scholar. So they go find Carter, the crush, and he's at the pump and dump dance. And so they get to the pump and dump dance, and Coog is like, I'm so sad. I don't know where my girlfriend is, and I just want her to be happy, and I don't even care if she wants to break up with me. I literally just love her so much that she could literally BB gun to my head, and I would literally still love her. And they're like, okay, Coog, we're going to tell you. She's invisible. She's right here. She heard all that. And he's like, whoa, what?
But he's so dumb, he's not scared.
Yeah, he's wild. So then they're like, okay, we need to find Carter. They said that he's volunteering somewhere. So they go, like, they split up. They go into the haunted house. That was silly. And then George runs into Nikki, and he's like, oh, hey, girl. And you're like, okay, you like me? So then they find Carter. And he's dressed as a honeypot, and he dressed as a honeypot because when he thought that Cleo asked him out, she was a bear. And he was like, I worked all day on this, so I thought it'd be really cute because you were dressed as the bear and I was going to be your honey. And he's like, I realize that's kind of dumb because you're not wearing the bear right now. And she's like, I don't know what you're talking about, because it was Molly who said all that stuff. But she was very understanding of like, I want to talk about this. I appreciate you. I need your help with something. And so then they all work together to find a solution. And they're like, we need space to. And Val, can you explain how they did it? They like needed the steam, but they needed lots of steam, but they needed the steam liquid.
So they basically like recreated making the moth juice by like steaming the moth and then making the liquid so that she could drink it, but they like had to distill it, and so like it was like taking too long basically.
Yeah, and it was like They only get like 4 drops of it.
Right.
And then,
but they have it in time.
So it's literally like 11:59, tick, tick, tick. And then Perkins knocking on the door. And he's like,
because they're in a barn at the party.
But Val, what's the barn? Off limits. They're in the off limits barn. So Perkins is like, open up or you're getting Mr. Detention. And so they're like, drink it. And then they like literally tell him of the science, like it's past midnight. And Molly's like, if I die, Mr. Perkins, and everyone, it was so nice knowing you. And she drinks it.
The reason why she doesn't get it in time is because Perkins busts in and Molly takes the extra moment to like throw flour on herself or something so that he can see her. And then she tells him what happened.
Oh, yeah. And she's like, hey, Cleo's like so freaking smart and really great. Yeah. And you are believing in her and you should need to like treat her as such. Yeah. But then she drinks the thing. It doesn't work. And they're like, oh my God, it's because it's past midnight. And like, no, it's because she didn't have the ginger fizz. And that was part of the solution. So then they get her that Alka-Seltzer. She drinks it and she becomes a human again. And then Perkins is happy because of science. Carter's happy because they like started talking, and then they end with a narrator, and I wrote happy visibility. Happy visibility.
I just thought of another funny line that Coog says. He's like, we could still be happy and eventually have half invisible babies.
Half human, half invisible babies. That was Coog wins.
Coog wins. Coog is the only winner.
He is the only winner. And that's the movie. So if
and then they all have Froyo.
Oh yeah. Where did Froyo go?
I don't know.
Because Froyo in 2015, like 2013 to 2017 was like, hey, do you want to get Froyo? Like I think I was half human, half Froyo in college.
Well, so here's the thing. Like when I used to I lived in a much trendier part of the city before we moved recently. And there was like a strip and like you could tell what was like trendy at that moment based on like if there were like 5 of that thing on this like 1 mile strip of street, right? On Milwaukee Avenue. And so like when I first moved there, it was Froyo. Yeah. Right. And then it was like sushi or something like that, and then it was eventually ramen, and then they went away, and I don't know what it is now, but like it's cookies. Just constant. Oh, interesting.
It's cookies now. It's the Crumble. It's the Insomnia. I have 3 cookie places in my neighborhood.
Interesting. Yeah. So like it just keeps cycling. Like what is like the trendy thing that there's like 8 of on one street.
I wish it was bagels.
Yeah, there's really not a lot of. We actually found a place that's close to us that's good. Yeah,
I'm coming over. We're getting bagels.
Yeah, let's get bagels.
Also, I will say, Val, I went to Wiener Circle and got their burger. Not as good as the Super Dog burger that I got and ate in your dining room.
Nice. I'm not surprised actually by that.
And I don't eat hot dogs, so I can't attest to the hot dogs. But the burger at Super Dog much better.
I had hot dog today.
You had hot dog at Hot Dog Fest?
I had hot dog at Hot Dog Fest.
Hot dog.
It was good hot dog.
Hot dog.
Anyway, thank you, Al, for that lovely synopsis.
You're welcome.
I have nothing else to say about this.
Okay, let's move on. I think that means we should bingo.
Let's bingo. To bingo. Let's pump and dump.
Pump and dump. I love that's a thing.
All right, I will begin.
Do it.
One hit wonder song. There was a song, but it was not a one hit wonder.
There was a Super Chick song.
Yeah.
And then there was another one in there. There's someone by B. Martin. And then there was another one in there where I was like, this sounds like a terrible song.
There's something by a band called Plain Pact, which I've literally never heard of before. So let's count it.
Breaking the Fourth Wall, looking into the camera.
I don't think
I'm surprised they
so.
didn't have like a, where are you?
Yeah. I don't think that happened.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah. Okay. Holiday themed. Weirdly, yes. Yay! Even though it had literally nothing to do with the premise of the movie.
Yeah. Clunky metaphor.
I mean, literal invisibility is a metaphor for feeling invisible.
It's an invisibility cloak. Happy Christmas, Ron. Happy Christmas, Heavy.
Happy Christmas, Heavy. Parents who just don't get it. Their parents are in it for 10 seconds.
Yeah.
So no.
Cool non-parent adult.
Yes.
The teacher.
I would say Perkins. Yeah.
And the old lady you like.
Yes, the old lady I like. Oh, I wish I knew who she was.
Mm-hmm.
Someone too famous for a TV movie. Nope.
No. Competition to resolve central problem.
No.
No.
A montage sequence. I actually don't think there was.
I don't think so either.
Wow.
Wow.
Interesting.
Interesting. Cliche. God, we're delirious. And by we, I mean me are delirious. Cliche villains.
No.
There were no villains.
There were no villains except for insecurity.
Yeah.
Clothes or items you owned.
Oh, if I did the pink streak in my hair for October for Breast Cancer Awareness Month when I was that age, does that count?
Sure. And also, I have a Mardi Gras mask.
You too.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Yeah. And I have meatballs.
Rotten Tomatoes 40 to 60.
I'm going to go low, not just because I didn't love it, but because it doesn't feel like it's very well known. 42.
58.
Oh, come on. Nah.
At least it's not much higher.
Yeah. Happily Ever After. Yeah.
Yeah. Almost Kissing.
No.
No one got close enough to even almost kiss.
Someone who became famous.
So there's someone who I followed on Instagram who has 4 million followers.
Who?
I believe it's George.
Really?
Let me double check.
Interesting. I mean, Rowan was the lead in Girl Meets World, so I feel like she's relatively famous.
She's got 7 million.
Yeah.
And Karn has 4.3.
Nice.
So
okay.
I would say they are famous.
Yeah. Yeah.
Betraying of one's real friends or values.
No, I don't think so. Narrator. Yes.
Yeah. It just makes no sense. Like, if you're going to have a narrator, like, I mean, I hate a narrator any which way. But, like, what's the point of a narrator if they are there in the beginning and they're at the end?
Because to me, it's the sign of someone who, and this whole movie is evident of this, but like, it's a sign of someone who doesn't know how to show instead of tell.
Yeah.
Right? Like, literally, this whole movie is just people telling everything instead of just illustrating it.
Yeah, that's true. Wow, you're so smart, Val. Obviously, bad special effects or stunts.
I actually thought that the effects were pretty good, all things considered.
I did too. There was only one thing where I do think that the person who threw the lacrosse ball was not Rowan. It just looked like a third person who was trying to fake.
It could have been.
Yeah.
I didn't catch it, but I believe you.
Yeah. I'm not going to mark it, but it was just, it was just like, it very much also could have been her. It just like didn't feel like it. I was like, that looks like something different.
Well, she very clearly did not know how to run at all.
Oh my gosh, what movie did we watch where she didn't know how to run? Avalon High?
Avalon High.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I almost said a kid in King Arthur's Court. Yeah. Avalon High.
Yeah.
Yes, she was a runner who didn't know how to run.
Yeah.
It was very funny. Disney Channel star. Yep.
Yep. A couple.
Girl Meets World.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Jessie.
Karn. Yeah.
Karn
Jessie.
was on Jessie.
Yes. Musical number.
Meow.
Meow.
Ooh, magic. Science is the real magic.
Yes. Science.
I should have worn my shirt.
Mm-hmm. Someone says the title of the movie.
No.
Yeah, I don't think so.
They say my sister is invisible, but they don't say invisible
sister.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Scooby Dude. Yeah.
Yeah.
The whole moth scenario in the barn. Yep.
Also love the way you say Scooby Dude because you say it the same way every time. Scooby Dude. Scooby Dude. The heroes create the problem.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Very much so. Lead is a fish out of water.
Yeah.
Yes. Because Cleo has to pretend to be Molly and she's
does.
very bad at
Yeah.
it. Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, we got a couple boxes, but they were not in the right order. We have no bingo today.
Well, that feels appropriate.
Yeah, it does. But that means we still have a game. And apologies from game. Because last week's wasn't a game, and this week's is a game. But it's not one you win. It is just a game. So Val, I don't know if you picked up on it, but I made a face when you were like, yes, that part was unbelievable for this movie. Well, I know my friend Val, and I knew that she was going to pick up on that and not like certain things in movies. So today is a game of Would You Rather Bad Movie Edition. Okay.
Love it.
So I didn't know how else to describe this. So if you want to re-describe it in the way that you interpret it, is when a movie has those like weird cat noises where it's like they fall over a fence and it's like
they, yeah.
So
yeah,
whatever that kind of movie is.
Yeah.
Okay. Would you rather have that versus a movie with a terrible score? Terrible music,
Ooh.
like either like no score or like terrible score.
I think personally, I would take the bad score.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I have not really watched a movie with like a really bad score.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if in reality I would be able to tolerate it more. But like I've definitely watched movies where I was just so pissed off by the thing. So I'm going to say that.
Cool.
Mm-hmm.
Would you rather have good acting and bad writing versus bad acting and good writing?
That is so hard. I think, honestly, at the end of the day, I would take good acting and bad writing. Because this movie, like, it bothered me, but I didn't, like, hate it in the same way that I find it really hard to watch bad acting.
Okay.
So I think at the end of the day, despite the fact that this was a frustrating movie, I found it more tolerable, I think, than I do bad acting.
Okay. Heard it here first.
Mm-hmm.
Would you rather have obvious stunt doubles or obvious lip syncing?
That's tough. I think stunt doubles. Yeah. Like lip syncing bothers me a lot.
Yeah.
Especially when it's not done well.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I think I'd take the stunt doubles.
Okay. You're like, that's a guy skateboarding in a wig.
Yeah, that's a grown man
doing backflips on a balance beam. Okay. Would you rather have a food fight or a dance off?
Definitely a dance off. Ugh.
Hate a food fight.
I hate a food fight. Hate it.
Oh, you know what? Camp Rock has both a dance off and a food fight.
That is true.
Would you rather have the plot of the movie be like, I have what you don't, love, versus a narrator?
Definitely the first one.
All right, last one is not twins taken for being twins, like this movie, or like a She's the Man, where you're like,
oh yeah,
which I know is 12th, like I get it, but it's 12th night, but it just, like people are not.
I know. You have to suspend belief in a really
like
ridiculous
I need
way.
Parent Trap twins if we're going for twins.
Yeah, correct. Yeah. Yes.
Or so not twins being taken for twins versus a romantic miscommunication where it's like the like Carter of it all, where he's like, oh, I didn't think that you, and she's like, I didn't think you like, and then I didn't.
I think I would take the twin thing every time because as annoying as that is, like I get very uncomfortable with like that kind of tension. Yeah. Like of people being embarrassed or people being confused, you know, like missing things. Yeah. Like, I don't know. That stuff makes me very uncomfortable. So I think I'd prefer just bad twins.
Yay. Well, thanks, Val, for playing.
Yay. You won. That was fun. Oh, thank you.
You're welcome. I lost.
Oh, no, you didn't. I love you.
I love you. Val, this was so much fun. We should record at 9:30 at night every time.
No, thank you.
No. What are we watching next?
We are watching Adventures in Babysitting.
All right. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah, I feel like I've heard of that, but I don't know if it's because this is a remake of another movie or if I've just heard of this movie and I don't know why. But either way, interested to see what it is.
Yeah, it'll be nice and fun. It is coming out on schedule for us, but I won't see you for a bit until after I'm back from vacation.
Yes, have so much fun. Al's going on big adventures.
Big adventures, which I guess I could talk about now because by the time this airs, actually, no, I'll be still on my big adventure while this airs. So you don't get to know what it is yet. Uh-oh. Although probably the people listening to this do.
Maybe. Not all of them. Well, the mystery will remain.
Yes. Where do you think I'm going on vacation?
Where in the world is
Alexandra Ring? All right, Val, I love you so much.
I love you so much. so much.
Bye, Val.
Bye, Al. This podcast was produced by me.
And me.
And it was edited by me.
The music was composed by Michael McNally.
You can find us online at thetridentnetwork.com/dcommentaries-pod.
And you can find us on Instagram and TikTok at dcommentaries.
D-Commentaries is a part of the Trident Network. To learn more about our videos, live shows, and other podcasts, please visit thetridentnetwork.com.
Disney Channel original movies.
Damn it, Allie.